Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
Truly a sight to behold. The man beat the once great champ, now a study in moppishness. No longer the victory-hungry stallion we've raced so many times before, but a pathetic, washed-up, aged ex-champion.
All right, let's go.
I think you know the guy. And I think you know him pretty damn well. His name is
Izzy Presley.
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 What's my name? Say my name, bitch!
My good friend.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley. Ouch!
Izzy Presley. Whoa, that sounds a little weird.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley, the heaviest, girthiest rock DJ around.
Hey, this is Jeff LaBar. You listen to Izzy Presley. Those aren't pillows.
Hello, Las Vegas. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you. It's always good to be seen. I'm Izzy Presley. I am the host of the program out here in beautiful fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Got a great show for you today. It is Friday, the 27th of February. And I'm recording two shows today. This show is going to come out today, and it'll be on the Patreon, ad-free, patreon.com/RealIzzyPresley, as all of these shows are ad-free and before everywhere else. Usually earlier in the week, and then it comes out on Friday, but today's Friday, and I have to shoot two shows today. And so this is going to go up in the Patreon this afternoon, and it will be out for the world this evening with ads. So if you're listening to this and you get sick of the ads, head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/RealIzzyPresley. It's only $5 a month. You get a lot of exclusive content, shows nearly every single day just for the Patreon. It's good. It's fun. It's the Miniondom. Come on and join us. It's a good time. Man, since last time we talked, I drove to Minnesota. I did a show up there with a tribute to Ace Frehley. And we remembered Ace. We remembered the Press Bar and Parlor, my old stomping grounds. I bartended there. I was a drunk there. I was on that stage many times with a lot of friends. It's gone 6 years. The fire happened 6 years ago, and it's sad, man. It's a sad, sad thing. But it is what it is. We move on. We go forward, and now we just remember the good times and our good old friends up at the Press Bar and Parlor. I drove, which means I got to bring back Michelob Golden Light and Top the Tater, the important shit. And hit all the good places like Culver's, because we don't have Culver's here in Las Vegas. First one I saw was Flagstaff. Of course, I get there's a fucking blizzard. So dumb. Well, not a blizzard, a snowstorm. It just set the fucking tone. But Culver's was amazing. Culver's is unbelievable. If you never had Culver's, try Culver's if you ever see one. And the next day, I drove from Oklahoma to Minnesota and got stuck in a real blizzard. What's supposed to take 3 hours. South of Des Moines to Clear Lake, Iowa should be about 3 hours. Yeah, it took me 7. It's fucking brutal. 25 miles an hour. Oh, so dumb. Just so dumb. But, I got there. It was frigid cold. Had a nice little rehearsal in in an unheated garage. All this to play 2 hours of KISS songs with my friends, and it was goddamn worth it. It was so fun. So thank you to the Red Carpet. Thank you to my band members back home. The original act tribute to Ace Frehley, Al Bergstrom on bass, Mick Rotella on guitar, and the guest next week on this show, Minnesota Pete Campbell. Pete played with Pentagram for many years, and now he's in a new project called Axe Dragger with the original singer from Pantera. Is it Blaze something? I should have this stuff right in front of me, but I don't, because, that would be too easy. And that would constitute doing research, and I just don't have that bone in my body. I don't have any other bones in my body either, thankfully. Oh, I crack myself up. And so Pete's going to be on next week, and it's called Axe Dragger. It's the original singer for Pantera, the guitar player from Fu Manchu, and the bass player from a death metal band in Sweden. And looking forward to that. So we're recording that today. That will also be on the Patreon today. Mm-hmm. Ad-free. A week before everybody else gets it. So come on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/RealIzzyPresley. So today's show, what you're getting today on Friday, the 27th of February, is an old friend. I've known him for about 16 years. His name is Del James. And Del has been working with Guns N' Roses for, I believe, since the 80s. Pretty sure since the 80s. Since before the first record came out, I'm pretty sure. And we're going to get into all that. But most importantly, Del has a new book out called Consensual Violence. And it is a comic book form, but it's not a comic book. It's a book in the comic book form with the illustrated amazing. It's wrestling based, and it's very cool. You guys will dig it. The paid or the Amazon link will be down there so you guys can buy it. And big news. So Dawson is still unavailable. We will be recording something on the Cruise at the Edge next week, so that's why I am pre-recording for next week. So I am gone Monday to Monday, and then we'll be back rolling again on Tuesday. Maybe I'll bust out a Patreon when I get home. We'll see. Why not? I mean, $5 a month, you should get content, right? So Dawson and I will probably record a show on the cruise, Cruise of the Edge. It's the Prague cruise. And then we'll be back the following week with, I'm working on a couple things. Hold on. One of them. See, now, a stickler for editing would have cut that out. I'm just going to leave that in there. So one of them is this Rush book. 2012, 50 years, Rush and 2012. So we're going to have this author on. Dawson is a big Rush tard, so he's very excited about this. Very, very well done. Very cool. We're going to have this cat on. And then I will be getting Martin Popoff on for his new book, KISS 1976. Goes through every month of 1976 and KISS and what is going on in the world. So that's what's coming up. If you are coming to Las Vegas to get married, hit me up. I can do that, and I'd be happy to do that. IzzyPresley.com. All the information is there. Send me an email, and we'll do it. And we'll work out the fees, all that kind of stuff, because that shit ain't free. Boys got to make a living, right? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a short 2-minute break. It's not commercials. Oh, no. But, while you're waiting, hit up beateramplification.com. 2 E's, beateramplification.com. I'm still waiting on my new head. It is phenomenal. 100 watts of testicular fortitude. 3 channels. Old school AC/DC. Old school Metallica. Clean fender. It's fucking beautiful. It's amazing. Cannot wait for my new one to show up. beateramplification.com. But we are going to do a bit, if you are new to the show. I did last year, and I recorded a bunch of them this year at the AVNs, called Dating Tips from Porn Stars. So this is the first edition this year. Going to do about once a month. We'll squeeze 2 in because I didn't have a chance to do one last month. But this one is, we're starting off this one off with a bang, no pun intended. Aubrey Kate. Aubrey is one of the biggest, arguably the biggest trans porn star in the business, and Dating Tips from Porn Stars. Hit up Aubrey Kate. Check it out. It is another effing podcast. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, returning to the show. Before we get to Aubrey, my old co-host, my old cohort, because Dawson is gone until next week. Paul Gargano, Hall of Famer. Inaugural, another effing podcast, Hall of Famer, Paul Gargano, ex-co-host of the show when we were doing the Metal Edge thing. Myself, Paul, and Del James. It is another effing podcast. We'll be right back.
And now it's time for dating tips from porn stars.
We're with Aubrey Kate. This is the very first 2026 dating tips from porn stars. First question, do you prefer a cheesy pickup line, a subtle joke, or a blunt random hi?
I think a blunt random hi.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just think like if you're gonna come up to me, just come up to me. You don't have to like do something cheesy to get my attention.
Very well. Do you prefer a flirty, funny, long game or bluntness?
No, I'm not. I'm ready to.
I'm very straight to the
Yeah.
point. I don't really like small talk, so if you want to fuck, like, be straight up. I'll either tell you yes or no.
Love it.
Yeah.
First date, low-key dive bar, high-class dinner, or fun activity?
I would say fun activity. I definitely don't like dive bars. I do like fine dining, but I feel like I've been to so many nice restaurants. Like, I treat myself, so I don't think anybody's gonna treat me better than I treat myself. I think something fun and a fun activity will kind of see how we like click together, you know? So,
Right.
fun activity.
What's the best way to break the ice online?
You know, that's really hard because I never really got into the whole online dating or anything like that. I guess I would just be like DTF, straight to the point, you know?
I love it. I'll remember that. And lastly, does size matter?
Yes, I think it does, but I'm not a size queen. I think anything between like 6 and 9 is great for me.
Perfect. And if they want to find you online, where can they find you?
AubreyKate.com will take you straight to my OnlyFans, but official Aubrey Kate is my Instagram, and Aubrey Kate XXX is my X.
Awesome.
That was dating tips from porn stars. Now back to another effing podcast with Izzy Presley.
All right, we are back on another effing podcast. That was Dating Tips with Porn Stars, the first one of 2026 with Aubrey Kate, who probably has a nicer hog than me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming back to the show for the first time in years. He is a Hall of Famer for the first ballot, the first edition. Give it up for Paul Gargano. How you doing, Pally?
I forgot about that. It's my first appearance since becoming a Hall of Famer.
That's right. That's right. Welcome
and
back.
you didn't have to officially rename it Hall of Shame.
Well, that's coming soon.
Coming
in your honor, the
soon.
Paul Gargano, another effing podcast, Hall of Shame. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us for the very first time, a guy that I've known for about 16 years. And ironically, we got connected before I moved to Los Angeles by a personal friend of both of ours, Scotty Lee. And he just introduced me to a whole bunch of people on Facebook. And I showed up. I was invited to the party. It was a UFC thing. And I met Del. And he's like, "Oh God, I thought you were one of those GNR freaks. Thank God." It was great.
You're like, no kiss freak.
Yeah, right.
That's
ladies
okay.
and-
That's totally fine by me, you know. Kids fanatics, then Lizzie fanatics, hockey fanatics, bring
Yep.
it. You know?
Bring it.
Yeah, for
Just not-
sure. And he has a
No
brand new
Axel
book called
fanatics.
Consensual Violence, which is available now. There it is. The Amazon link will be down in the I'm assuming it's just on Amazon, or
It's available in some brick and mortar stores.
Nice.
Barnes and Nobles is supposed to have it, but the easiest spot to find it is Amazon.
there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Del James, welcome.
Dude, I wore my hockey shirt just for you, Izzy.
That's
See that
great.
view?
Oh, dude, that's
See
great.
that?
I just noticed that. I mean, I saw the
That's
Anthrax part.
awesome.
I just noticed the old school that off Rangers logo. I love it.
Dude, the third jersey Rangers logo
Yep.
and Anthrax mashup.
Oh, that's awesome.
Puck Hockey did this shirt, and yeah, it's pretty fucking rad.
That is
That's
fucking
awesome.
cool.
Dude,
Well, let's.
were you all consumed in USA hockey? Were you just losing your little friggin' mind at 5 a.m.?
I was listening to it because I was driving back from Minnesota and I left Minnesota at 7 a.m. So it was just at the start of the game. So I got to listen to the entire game and it was freaking exciting. It was great.
That was a great game. And I love the 3-on-3. The 3-on-3
No,
format's awesome
no, it's
in
not.
overtime.
It's
Oh, I
brutal.
love it.
There's
I
no
love it.
reason for that.
I love
Dude,
it.
this is a gold medal game, 5-on-5.
But that's how they do it.
I'm kind of with Izzy on this one. I
Okay.
don't think that I don't think that you have to speed up the game or guarantee a winner. Just play. And I
Mhm.
mean, there have
That's what they
been
do in
games that
NHL though,
go.
too, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
Isn't that what they do in NHL too?
They have indeed changed it to
Yeah.
3-on-3 afterwards, and if there's no scoring, then they go to the shootout. But I remember double overtime games, triple
Oh yeah.
overtime games. That I mean, that's some heavy duty hockey shit. Hey, watch this. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Eddie Jockman, Brad Park, Dale Rolfe, Steve Vickers, Vic Hadfield, and Rod Gilbert. Those are my New York Rangers.
Well, my Minnesota North Stars,
Do
Willie
it.
Plett, Shane Churla, Basil McRae, Neil Broughton. I mean, Modano. Can't go wrong with Modano. I mean, Brian Bellows, Russ Courtnall. I can go on and on and on.
Yes, you
Kerry Taco.
can. Yeah,
I'm the lonely Whalers guy in Connecticut. So
Did you ever get to see that hockey team, the minor league hockey team, the Trashers?
are you talking to me or is he?
I'm talking to you, Paul.
No, I did not. I did not. Where were they?
They were a minor league hockey team. There's a special on it on Netflix. Uh, they were mob run. Basically,
Wow.
some Tony Soprano dude gifts his son a minor league hockey team, and because they've got deep pockets, they start buying NHL players. And
Oh, wow.
the Trashers, the name was the Trashers because they were in the trash industry.
Yeah.
Oh, this documentary is to die for. Both of you fellas need to see it.
Okay.
And I remember it being on Netflix.
I'm going to have to
Wow.
look that up.
All right, I'll have to look it up too. Is it called Thrashers? Is that in the name?
It's whatever their sports documentary series is called. They did one on Christy Martin, the lady boxer. They did one on the Pacers brawl, but I can't remember what the series is called. I'm
I
sure
always
you can find it.
I always get a chuckle out of the basketball brawls. It's a lot of bitch slapping. There's no real fights in basketball. It's like,
Well, dude, if your arms were 4 feet long too, stick and move.
Here it is. Yep. It's on I don't know if it's still on Netflix. What
oh,
Untold? It's Untold Crimes and Penalties.
Yes, it's basically true crime and sports mixed up with one another for these really great stories. And the Trashers one, I mean, it's full on fucking Sopranos hockey.
oh, I love it. Hey, have you watched the new season of Shorzy yet?
I don't even know what that is.
Shorzy, it's on Hulu. It's a hockey series. It's an offshoot of Letterkenny. And it's like no show Northern Ontario senior hockey league stuff. It is fucking hilarious and it is awesome. You'll love it. You like
Nice.
old school hockey, you'll love it. You'll love it. Well, Del, the reason you're here, let's talk about the book first. Consensual Violence. You talked about in the end of the book, you kind of talk about where this came from. And it started out as a love of professional wrestling from watching it with your dad.
Yeah. I'm an old head. I grew up in the 70s. Wrestling was totally protected. It was sold as real, even if you
Mhm.
suspect it may not be.
Yep.
And my father was in Batista's Cuban government that gets overthrown by Fidel Castro. He and my mom come to America in 1960 with the clothes on their back.
Wow.
They are as immigrant of a story as you can have. They become citizens and, pay taxes, do all their bit.
Mhm.
And because there was a generational gap between my father was an older fella, and myself, he liked sports like tennis and soccer. And I'm an American kid, I'm surrounded by baseball, football, hockey, basketball. And we didn't see eye to eye. Couldn't understand football, For football's this barbaric sport. I'm like, yeah, that's the beauty of it. But the one thing we could agree upon was professional wrestling. He took me to my first match in 1975 at the Westchester County Arena in White Plains, New York, to see Bruno Sammartino defend the belt against Waldo Von Erich. And wrestling was the one language that we both spoke and both could appreciate. Uh, we would watch NWA wrestling from Los Angeles on UHF 47, as well as whatever else may come on. And it was one of the few bonding experiences that we shared. We both got into the storytelling. We both got into, the good versus evil aspects of professional wrestling, which is, so crucial to the storytelling. And those wrestling events that my father took me to are now very cherished memories.
Yeah, and the best part about back then, I mean, I grew up in that era too, later 70s. But when you would go see things at the Hamden High School gymnasium, like you went there because it wasn't it wasn't network television and it wasn't all over social media. You went to those little Trumbull High School gym thinking it might be the time Andre the Giant gets beat. It might be the time Pedro Morales drops the belt, because you had no idea, because it was such a mystique back then.
Right. Well, my mom worked at the ice arena in St. Cloud, and that's where the AWA came. And I remember I was very young. I remember seeing Andre. That's the only thing I remember about that night. But they came in one day and there was a blizzard. So they were late getting in. And I was in there with her very, very early before they opened the doors. So I, like El Darusha, they let me go into the ring and all that kind of shit. But the wrestlers were late showing up. So the show got delayed, but they brought out Bobby Heenan and Greg Gagne, the good guy and the bad guy at the same time, which was it just boggled my mind. But I had a Bobby Heenan autograph on my fucking popcorn box. I have no idea where the hell it is.
So who else was on the card? Because the AWA was powerful back then.
Oh yeah, there was the High Flyers, Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne. I think Heenan. God, was he with who the fuck was I don't know. It was like fourth grade, and I don't remember a lot from that time of my life.
I went to Madison Square Garden in 1977 to see superstar Billy Graham defend the belt against Mil Mascaras. And what you were saying, Paul, is like we totally believed we were going to go to the title change that, and had to be in the building, had to fucking see this for ourselves. And the match is called due to superstar Graham bleeding too much. So it's a disqualification. Graham keeps the belt. And then the following month is when he loses the belt to Bob Backlund.
Oh,
wow.
Yep.
God, I hate Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
That guy couldn't win for fucking losing. I mean,
that guy?
That fucking guy.
Is that the match where he lost to the Sheik?
That is, honestly, I swam growing up and in a swim team, and his daughter swam and became just kind of passing friendly with him. Okay. And it's just an autographed picture. It's an autographed picture because nobody cared about him as a wrestler. This was after he was done wrestling. This was when I was in high school. So nobody cared about him as a wrestler. He was just this chick's dad. You know what I mean? It was like, and that was before the WWF made an even bigger laughingstock out of him. But it's autographed on the back.
Yeah, he gets unfair, harsh treatment because he was the chosen one by Vince Sr. Everybody, all of New York was in love with Superstar Graham. Without Superstar Graham, there's no Chael Sonnen. There's no MJF. All these guys took something
Yeah.
out of Superstar Graham's book,
Mhm.
and Superstar Graham took stuff out of Muhammad Ali's promos,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Hmm.
So you are captivated, you're enthralled by this great talking, muscular, blonde Adonis, and then the next guy in line is Howdy fucking Doody. You know, he
Yeah.
didn't stand a chance. Bob Backlund
Del,
didn't stand a chance.
Let me ask you this. So when Hogan came in, obviously he became the Incredible Hulk Hogan in the AWA. That's where that whole character was developed. What did you guys know about? Did you know anything about him when he came in the second time and beat the Sheik?
History has a great way of erasing what happened before it. So
Mhm.
that Hogan had had a run already with Fred Blassie as his manager, and
Yep.
he lost to Andre the Giant at Shea Stadium,
Mhm.
and came in and did his run, loses to Bruno Sammartino, and then disappears, as did everyone else, as did
Right.
Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, Baron von Raschke, whoever the villain of the moment was, whoever the flavor of the 2 month or 3 month run that includes, shows in Philadelphia, shows in Boston, shows in
Yep.
Connecticut, shows in
And then everywhere in between. It's like it was like concert touring because they would connect the dots between the big cities with
Yep.
the Trumbull High School gym.
It was absolutely concert touring. And, these guys worked 6 nights a week, if not seven, sometimes twice on Sundays. And, we can never go back to that. Now we're
Right.
spoiled. And you don't have to wait till midnight to catch WWWF on Channel 9 WOR in New York.
In black and white with the snowy reception, and you got to keep hitting the side of the TV. That was
wiggling the rabbit ears, trying to find
yeah,
a
yeah.
spot. Yeah,
And my grandmother would go crazy every time Ivan Putski came on because she was Polish, and
The Polish
she's the one that
star.
got me into it because she loved it. And every time my parents would go out, my grandmother would babysit, and she'd let me stay up and watch wrestling with her, and she would tell me who was bad, who was good, and she loved Ivan Putski. She
Everybody loved
loved him.
Ivan Putski, Polish Power.
Yeah.
I mean, all that dude had to do was come to the ring, raise his fist, yell Polish Power, and he had Madison Square Garden in the
Yeah.
palm of his hands.
Right. Right.
With his
So-
great finishing move, the Polish hammer.
Yeah.
Polish Hammer. And here's a fun fact: the guy who basically trained Bruiser Brody in professional wrestling is Ivan Putski.
Oh wow! And
Really?
Bruiser's your all-time favorite, right?
Bruiser Brody is my number one, my Elvis Presley. There is none more believable of a brawler, of a wild man, of a riot inducing, ensuing, either
Yeah.
babyface or villain, didn't matter. Bruiser Brody was the real fucking deal. And Bruiser Brody gets murdered in a dressing room in Bayamon, Puerto Rico, by Jose Gonzalez, who wrestled as Invader #1. It was the very first episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story, Dark Side of the Ring, fantastic,
So
fantastic.
good. So good.
I literally just wrote a note to bring that up, and then you brought it up. So I literally just scribbled while you were talking DSOTR to make sure it got brought up because
And I mean, Brody versus Antonio Inoki, Brody versus Abdullah the Butcher,
yeah,
Mhm.
legendary. Brody and Hansen tag team in Japan, it's something else. And there was talks, there was, whispers that WrestleMania 2 could be Bruiser Brody versus Hulk Hogan, and that never came to be. It
Mhm.
never got past the preliminary talking stages,
Mhm.
but those seeds were being planted, and that would have
Wow.
been some super cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it would have been a
Wow.
lot better than what WrestleMania 2 ended up being.
Oy, oy. Yeah, the one in Chicago was a total dud.
Hmm. Absolutely. So when you decided to start writing this book, obviously the wrestling was there. Where did the story come from? Where did this all begin?
So basically, Consensual Violence is an unproduced movie script.
Mhm.
So I wrote it as a film, and the inspiration was watching an El Santo Blue Demon film. I have several of them in my Blu-ray stack, but I can't remember which one I was watching. And there was something so endearing about men wearing shiny, glittery masks and capes out in public, you know, going to the restaurant, but keeping their masks on and shit like that. That 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 brain cell that often gets me in trouble was like, hmm, how can you do something similar? And that's where the foundation, that's where the very beginning of consensual violence started to take place. I wanted to create something where you have real life people without superpowers, but somehow in their costumes having to fight for their lives. And, hopefully I pulled it off well enough that people dig it.
And what a better way to do it than with professional wrestling?
It's the only real way. I mean, you may be able to do a story. Nah, it's the only one. I mean, it's so ingrained in our psyche. There are luchadors. They wear masks. I
Yep.
get it,
Well, I like the fact, all three of us are obviously wrestling fans. I like the fact that you brought it to Mexico with the luchadores because there's a mystique there that we don't have now. Wrestling's theatrics in America. I mean, now people think of Netflix and who's got what TV, who has the contract. You bring it back to Mexico where it's so real and people are masked and they're hidden. In the part where they put their masks on, they take the picture with the police in the book, and it's like that mystique is back, and Mexico allows you to take it back to that mystique we had back in the '70s and early '80s, which I thought was really, like I said off camera, I started reading it. Izzy sent it to me. I started reading it, and I didn't stop. I went through the whole thing, and it was. I was like, it was a page turner on the computer.
Thank you very much. I totally appreciate that. Yeah, no, it could only make sense in Mexico. It would
Mhm.
because lucha libre is so ingrained in as part of their culture, because there are generational fans and generational luchadors, it's part of their societal fabric.
Mhm.
And you know, you wouldn't have the same situation where the cops pull over the characters and say, put your masks on, it would
Yeah,
never happen in America, but it's totally believable in Juarez.
yeah,
Where did the
yeah.
idea to have it animated like a comic book come from?
So, okay. So it's this script that's sitting on my desktop doing nothing but collecting dust.
Mhm.
And my friend Jeremy Wagner, who is the CEO of Dead Sky Publishing,
Mhm.
was talking to me about possibly doing some writing. He's a fan of The Language of Fear, my collection of short horror. And I was like, I have some stuff written and I think it would be, a pretty cool graphic novel. So Jeremy introduces me to Steve Wands, their CFO over at Dead Sky. Steve is my comic book sensei. Steve is the guy who put me together with the artist, with the colorist, with everything. He's the guy who, he's the coach of the team. And they taught me how to do a comic book script. They taught me the beats, the format. It took a couple passes to get it right. Nothing's ever a first draft,
Right.
Yeah.
but eventually it got to a place where it was presentable and made sense. And then the secret weapons are Juna Susisny, the artist of consensual violence. Man, he makes me seem so much better than I really am. Okay. His artwork is fucking spectacular. And every little change, every little detail, when you look at like the Easter eggs, like when the ladies are at the wrestling ticket booth and there's gimmicks and there's wrestling masks for sale.
Mhm.
All of the colors are accurate. That is a tiger mask. That is a Jushin Thunder Liger mask. That is a Mil Mascaras mask, and the colors are right. So every little detail, my man fucking knocked it out. And then the colorist is a lady named Julia Brusco. And Julia has a very extensive resume, and we were very fortunate to get her. And she captured the tone perfectly. It's got a certain grit, a certain grind
Yeah.
to it that, if this book was all bright and shiny,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same effect. When it was written as a script, it's written as an exploitation film. It's
Right.
borrowing from Kill Bill. It's borrowing from
Hmm.
Thriller, A Cruel Picture, and I Spit on Your Grave, and revenge,
Mhm.
rape revenge. Something horrible happens to our protagonist, and then we root for them to get their fucking comeuppance, to get their revenge. And I just said it in the world of Mexican wrestling and lucha libre.
The what was the difference for you, because you have written a lot? How hard was it making that jump into, because the pictures tell so much of the story, and it gives the words even more weight at that point. And that's one of the things I was thinking as I was reading through. There's so many panels without even text.
Yeah.
What how hard was it making that jump from what you had as a script, from all the writing you've done, into writing for a graphic novel?
It it was awkward at first, but once you start realizing, you've got to be economical with your panels, and certain pages can have more images. But if it's a long exposition page, if there's a lot of dialogue, you need to leave room for the balloon captions. So screenwriting, screenwriting, you don't tell the director how to direct, but you
Hmm.
learn how to write in a manner so they'll see what you want.
Yeah.
A lot of that was also done in this script. And truth be told, there's three wrestling matches. There's the minis, the little
Hmm.
people, the
Hmm.
midget wrestling, there's the men's wrestling, and then there's the ladies match, which is the main event.
Hmm.
The men's match once had dialogue and announcing and all that kind of stuff. And between Steve Wands and the letterer, Mikey Fiorentino, they were like, you don't need anything here. We get it. All we want to
Yeah.
do is see these characters who we've already seen it in the beginning of the book, and who also play a part of why shit happens later on.
Mhm.
So they pulled the dialogue, and the pages benefited from it.
One thing I did like too is you like when they're setting up the match, you get that behind the scenes dialogue of, okay, what are we going to do tonight? How are we going to do this tonight? And it, it's like part of that kayfabe of wrestling. You almost don't want to hear that shit, but it's cool that you have it in there.
It makes it seems more realistic. And I've asked my
Yeah.
wrestling buddies, the people who've been in dressing rooms and locker rooms before matches, does it resonate? Does it ring true? And everybody's been, yeah, you've got the lingo, you've got the language.
Mhm.
Poom, poom, poom. Poom is indeed a word in Spanish in Mexico, which is basically bang, bang, bang. So boom, boom, boom.
That's good.
Where did the characters come from? Did you have these characters in mind all? I'm surprised there haven't been wrestling characters like this before, like the two women.
They're definitely influenced by certain characters, by,
Hmm.
the sassy Latina can be traced to kind of Sasha Banks or
Hmm.
Mercedes Moné, she's known now.
Yeah.
Um, the fish out of water white girl, Kristen Moore, La Viuda de Vampira, or La Viuda de Frankenstein,
Frankenstein.
is the Wendy Richter of it.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
holy Wendy Richter reference. Wow.
Um, and it's easy to cast these if it ever was to be made into a movie.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that now that you have this out, that maybe it could be the vehicle to take the script to the next level?
That would be a grand slam. That would be, winning a Texas death match. That would be a dream come true. And they're basically storyboards.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so that I'm very proud of the graphic novel. I'm very proud of that accomplishment. I was fortunate that this piece of writing that I did that was going nowhere went somewhere, and
Yeah.
just by sticking, by believing in it and having good people also believe in it.
Right.
Have you given any thought to taking some of your prior writing, like maybe some of the stuff from Language of Fear or any other writing you've done, and converting it, following the footsteps into graphic novel with that?
There's there's always the possibility, that there's always that possibility, but I have a lot of unread, unproduced scripts that will make for great graphic novels.
Okay.
And we're in the process of working on my second one now, which is called
Nice.
it's called No Saints in Myanmar. And if consensual violence was my feminist statement, No Saints in Myanmar is my chivalry ain't dead statement. The crux of the plot is a call girl, a high-priced escort, is summoned to a hotel to, do a trick with a mobster. She's taken there by a security expert, a bodyguard.
Hmm.
And the mobster does too much blow and too many Viagra's, has a heart attack and dies. So the escort goes to the bodyguard, help me, help me, help me. That bodyguard has a choice to make. Do I take her, turn her in where she will be executed, or do I help her get out of Myanmar, knowing that all the triad is going to be after us? Chivalry ain't dead. Of course, he's going to help her, and it is my if consensual violence is my homage to Santo movies or Blue Demon movies or Lucha Libre movies, this is definitely influenced by the films of Sam Peckinpah. Gritty, grimy,
Hmm.
men doing men shit and big shotgun blasts.
Very cool.
Nice. Is there a timeline for that one yet, or not yet?
It's in production right now. It's being drawn as we speak. A fella named Dalibor Talajic from Croatia is the
Oh,
artist.
wow.
And Dalibor has done a lot of Deadpool. He's done some Punisher. He's done some really grimy graphic novels. And, I've posted a little here and there on like Instagram, as has he. And some of these images are just fucking slamming.
What
I'm so fortunate to have someone so talented working on No Saints in Myanmar.
what's the time, what's the process like? Do you start with, do you hand something to the artist? Like, you obviously you can't have the words until the images are made, right? Or do you have the words and then the artist strings them together?
That you're correct the second time.
Okay.
The script exists, and then the artist starts envisioning it. And
Okay.
you see preliminary sketches, you see thumbnails, you see, panels without much detail,
Hmm.
so that the movement, the action is
Hmm.
accurate and correct. And then from there it goes to pencils and inks. Then the artist might be done there and the colorist comes in.
Hmm.
And the whole thing, it can take a very long time, but consensual violence took about a year,
Oh,
and
wow.
we're hoping to have No Saints out before the end of this year. I want to capitalize on as much momentum as possible. So if consensual violence is on people's radar right now, who's to
Hmm.
say that in 18 months it
Yeah.
still will be? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So Dead Sky Publishing and myself are working on a few books and putting the wheels in motion to just keep slamming people with, grimy, violent tales.
I
That's
love it, dude.
awesome.
I love it.
That's great.
So, Del, I want to dive into your backstory a little bit. How old were you when you moved to Los Angeles?
I was a whopping 21 years old when I moved to Los Angeles, which is over 40 fucking years ago.
What,
That's
so
just a few
what,
years ago.
yeah, so that would have been what, 85,
1985, 85.
1985. Were you in the music industry at all before you went out there?
I was not a professional by any means. I was just a huge uber rock fan, and it that Los Angeles was happening as much as it was happening at that particular time was the shiny lure in the water.
Mhm.
I hitched my wagon to a friend of mine who I had been in a garage band with, a fella named Randy Piawar, who was moving out to go to GIT, to Guitar Institute.
Mhm.
And I seized the moment. I'm going with you, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't know exactly what my course was. I wanted to be a singer, but I'm a terrible singer. Not that that stopped me.
That hasn't stopped anybody, so I shouldn't stop you.
And I had big dreams and aspirations of being David Lee Roth, of being
Mhm.
Bon Scott, you know. And as fate would have it, the first people who I meet on my first weekend in town apartment shopping is West Arkeen. I bump into this fella who is the embodiment of Jeff Spicoli meets Joe Walsh, and he's holding a bottle of tequila, and we become friends in the fucking hallway, and then wind up partying for the next 72 hours nonstop. We're there for 3 days. And living next door to Wesley was Duff McKagan. And
Okay.
crashing on Wesley's floor is Axl Rose. So these guys, these rock and roll animals become my introduction to Hollywood. And once you get a little taste of it, it's really addictive. It's
Yep.
really exciting. And so these guys are in a band called Guns N' Roses, Guns N' Roses. And in the back of my head, I'm like, man, if you're half as cool as your name, you're going to be pretty fucking cool. But I haven't seen them perform yet. They're
Yeah.
talking and living it, and everything is Guns N' Roses, Guns N' Roses, and you get kind of caught up in this Guns N' Roses whirlwind.
Mhm.
So I went to see them perform on a Thursday night at the Troubadour. And there's 60 of us, there's 50 of us. It's not the Guns N' Roses that people equate with superstardom now.
Right.
It's the who gives a fuck Guns N' Roses.
Right.
But also at the same time, you got to remember LA Guns, Faster Pussycat. There's a
Yep.
scene that's happening, and you kind of chose your gang. And those
Mhm.
who were in on Guns N' Roses early saw something that no one else had, saw some fucking chemistry and danger and decadence and talent that was unlike what a club band does. This is meant to be much bigger.
Right.
And somehow, some way, 40 years later, here I still am, part of the Guns N' Roses organization and family.
How did that actually start? How did your business connection with them start, or working for them?
On the I get sober May 13th, 1992, and that's
Mhm.
around the same time as the Guns N' Roses Metallica tour.
Okay.
So management was bringing me out to be a documentarian, to work with a documentary crew,
Okay.
to see how it's run. And I was given a fantastic incentive by the then manager, who was like, as long as you stay clean and sober, you will always have a job. So I was given small tasks at first: be an assistant to this guy, help with the documentary, be the interviewer for the unreleased documentary movie. Okay.
Mhm.
And, every time I was handed the ball, I didn't fumble. I may have not have gotten very far, but at least I didn't
Yeah.
fumble.
Right.
And that led to more opportunities and more opportunities. So, and here we are today, where I'm still part of, the touring management.
So, last question on this. We have so much stuff. We still have to get into Kiss and Ace Frehley and all this stuff. What? So you were,
Of course we
of
do.
course we do. So you were there in Toronto that night. What do you remember about that night?
Yeah, I was there in Montreal, if you're referring to the
Oh,
Montreal.
Montreal. More. Hey, fucking hosers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
hosers.
No, trust me, my mouth says words incorrectly all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, oh shit, that's
Yes.
not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Uh, so a little backstory. Prior to that show in Montreal, there had been some shows that had been canceled because Axel was having throat issues. They had to be canceled. He had no voice. So he goes and sees doctors, he does what he's told, and then Montreal's the first gig. That same night, someone moved the monitors. This is before in-ear monitors.
Right.
This is wedges on the floor and shit like that. Someone moved the monitors, which arguably is why James Hetfield caught fire, why he stood in the wrong spot.
Oh.
And that was horrific. That was fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Then Guns N' Roses come on, and I'm in the audience. I'm at front house. I'm in the barricade where the photographers are.
Mhm.
And when I tell you it was like Twilight Zone, the sound was insane. The sound was it was all askew. It made no fucking sense why this was happening. So eventually the band walked off. They tried to play for about 40, 45 minutes, and they were like, yo, we'll come back when this shit's right. And Montreal exploded. The stadium went fucking batshit. And everybody kind of took shelter in the dressing rooms. And I remember when we were leaving to go back to the MGM, which was the plane we were chartering to go home, and this fucking horrific riot had just gone down. We had to wear hard hats and keep our heads down because we were concerned about, upset fans throwing bricks at us.
Right, right. Well, it's just weird to hear this side of it because we've never heard that side of the story about the monitors not being in the right spot.
Yeah. There's much like every story has a backstory, and you know, it was fucked up, and it wasn't for a lack of effort. It wasn't that someone just decided, hey, I don't want to play tonight. No, there were reasons, and every attempt to get shit right just seemed to make matters worse. So yeah, there were a lot of factors, and I hope I'm doing the story justice and being as accurate as can be. But there was a lot of shit that went down that night, and monitor placement has a lot to do with it.
This was also pre-internet, and for all the criticisms that can be made of everybody knowing everything now because it's the internet, and even if they're wrong, they still have an opinion. The fact of the matter was, back then it wasn't as easy to get the story out there. It was just there was a villain, and that was it, and that's the way it was portrayed.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you speak about the internet. In the past week, Phil Anselmo had some false stories floating around that had people concerned. We can't handle these fucking things.
Yeah.
Right? We have become reliant upon them, so directions are no longer, mappable. They have to be spoken to by Siri or something.
Yeah.
And the ability to spread false information is staggering for clickbait and for political reasons. You fucking talk enough shit about your opponent enough, and it reaches enough people who are susceptible to believe in it, and it works. Disinformation is a reality, and we are living in that age.
Well, look, I mean, what we're doing right now is a perfect example. I jokingly named this show Another Fucking Podcast in 2013. Not everybody had a podcast. Now everybody does have a podcast. And there's a lot of shit that's just out there for clickbait, and goes right back to exactly what you said.
I did like just taking it back to the novel for a moment. I did like the part in there where the girls were talking about their image, and she was talking about her image, and they were talking about the way some female wrestlers. Because I know some of this is right out of current events. It seemed because they're talking about how people treat some of the female wrestlers.
Oh yeah. There's what Paul's referring to is there's a little segment where they talk about the ugliness of the internet,
Yeah.
the super fanboys who spew hate online, and that's an unfortunate reality. And female wrestlers experience a lot of misogynistic, ugly comments that, that somebody wouldn't say to someone else face to face, but
Right.
they're fucking cowards, but they
Hmm.
will, be keyboard warriors and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you friends with any female wrestlers? Did you have any like quote unquote consultants in that regard?
No, no, no.
No.
I'm just a fan and a respectful fan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate like NXT has a lady wrestler named Sol Ruka, and she's fantastic. She's destined for the main roster. I really like Tekla in AEW when she does the Exorcist spider walk. Uh,
Hmm.
Fuck me, that is so good.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
All right.
Is
So
she
in the
still
words,
AEW?
I'm
Is
sorry.
she still is she still AEW? Did she leave AEW?
No, Tekla is AEW, and she, I believe, is their current women's world's champion.
That's that's not who I was thinking of. I was thinking of the who
There's
was the other
Tony
one that did
Storm,
there was another one that did the spider walk. And Abaddon, was that her name?
Abaddon.
She's
Yes.
Abaddon. She's not AEW anymore.
No, she had a great
Yeah.
gimmick though. She
Yeah.
was like black metal.
Yeah.
And as you both know, I am a big fan of black fucking
oh
metal.
yeah.
I saw
Oh
I
yeah.
saw I saw Venom Slayer Exodus at Studio 54 in 1985.
Wow.
I've been to countless Watain shows, countless Slayer shows, countless Behemoth shows, as well as like some grimy underground black metal shows where
Yeah.
you take your life into your own hand, and that's part of its charm. That's part of its appeal. It's not for
Yeah.
Have you
It's,
been to the Metal Blade Museum out here in Vegas yet, Del?
Love the Metal Blade Museum. All the old Merciful Fate stuff and the
Yeah.
blood stuff, obviously.
mhm.
I cannot recommend visiting the Metal Blade Museum in Las Vegas any higher.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And in the words of our mutual friend, dude, can we just talk about Kiss? Del, how did your Kiss story start?
Shit. Um, I want to say in fifth grade, I buy my first record with my own money, and that's Kiss Alive. And that becomes the gateway to Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, and that they become the gateway to Judas Priest and the Scorpions and Iron Maiden, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Kiss were they walked on water. Kiss
Mhm.
were gods, and Ace Frehley in particular was my favorite god. The first show I was supposed to attend was 1977 Kiss at Madison Square Garden, but I had like pneumonia or something, and my mom wouldn't let me go. And for years, I was resentful that I missed out on Kiss because between 77 and their next come around, Dynasty comes out, it loses me entirely. Um, I've gone from Kiss Army loving, supporting Kiss meets the Phantom and all that stuff to Kiss is for kids, Kiss is for someone else. I've moved on to Black Sabbath. Um,
So it's
only
interesting you said.
years, only for years later, you know, Creatures of the Night kind of got me back.
Mhm.
And of course, the reunion tour was very
Right.
important to me. Uh, so Kiss were and are today very important to me.
Did you ever see Kiss in makeup before the reunion, or was that your only shot?
first time I saw Kiss was on the Lick It Up tour at the Nassau Coliseum with Queensryche as their opener.
Wow. Nice.
So I was the first person to interview, or I was one of the first people to interview Kiss in their makeup, but it's not what you think. It's not for the reunion tour. In 1990, Kiss did a music video for
Rise to it.
Rise to It. And the beginning and the end of the video is Kiss applying their makeup, talking about, you know, we can never take this off. Oh, we can take
Yeah.
this. We can never take this off. Well, we can take this off. Then they perform the song. Bruce Kulick and Eric Carr are in the band.
Mhm.
And then at the end of it is Paul and Gene in full Kiss makeup. And this is a come to Jesus moment, but not like in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
This is seeing a fucking miracle for me, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to be the person who was chosen to cover and interview Kiss for Rip Magazine. So on the video shoot, people are coming in, poking their heads in, and one of the people who also was like nerding out over like Kiss wardrobe and jeans boots was Steven Adler. Steven snuck in as well, and like we're like children, right? We're fucking. Oh my God, look at this belt. It's got studs on it. Oh my God, look at these boots. It's got the dragon teeth. It was phenomenal in the true geekiest sense of the word.
Yeah.
And
Did you have the whole Kiss Tard thing in the back of your head going, well, okay, this costume that's from a different era and
yeah, no, I was taking mental notes, but I wasn't, I was a guest and I was trespassing, so I was just
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
How was that the interview? I mean, what was that? Because are you sitting there with them in full makeup doing the interview?
No, they're not in makeup, but I saw the shoot. They're professionals,
Yeah.
They know how to answer every question the way they want to answer the question to get
Right.
their point across.
Mhm.
So, there's no new revelations. And
Yeah.
I'm egging them on, like, you sure you don't want to put the makeup on? Well, you never say never, Dell, but
Yeah.
and lo and behold, eventually they came to their senses and gave the people what they truly want. As good as some of the non-makeup music is, and some of it's really fucking good, everybody wants to see Kiss in makeup doing the
Yeah.
classics.
Absolutely.
Except for Chris Jericho.
And 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 Danko Jones.
And Danko Jones too.
Dell, you said you said you had a relationship with Ace?
I did have a fleeting relationship with Ace Frehley. So around the reunion time, around would that have been 95-ish or so?
96.
96.
Yeah.
So 95, 96, Kiss are keeping their secrets under wrap that they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're preparing for it. My friend Steve Werner had been Ace's drummer in the Ace Frehley band for years, and that's how I first met and became friendly with Ace. So Steve is like, yo, Ace is staying at the Shoreham Towers. He's really doesn't know all that many people. You mind, going in and hanging out and shit? Like, fuck me, of course. Duh. So I get to know Ace, and he's charming and lovable when he wants to be charming and lovable.
Right.
And it was always super cool. Hey, this is my friend Dal. He's the author of a book. So one of the times that really stands out in my adventures with Ace Frehley is I took him to Dragonfly, which is a rock and roll bar on Santa Monica Boulevard. I don't recall who was playing, but he had his man purse. He had his brown leather bag on that's full of all kinds of like incredible, what are you doing with that kind of stuff?
What? He's ready for the Price is Right.
And one of the items he had in his merce was night vision goggles. So we're in this dark bar, and yeah, Dal, I got this from one of my CIA friends. And you put them on, and sure enough, it's Silence of the Lambs. You can see in the dark. So I hand Ace back his night vision goggles, and he tells me, "Go hide." So we're playing hide and go seek in a bar with night vision goggles, man.
Oh, wow.
Crazy is that?
Oh my
So
God.
where'd you hide in Dragonfly?
Like behind a table or something. Like there really wasn't much. There wasn't like a tree or anything that I could.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Ace Frehley told me to go hide. I'm gonna go hide.
And so before you moved into the Slam Dome, Izzy, Ace had gone there on several occasions to just hang out and, mingle with my circle of friends, which is your circle of friends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you remember the last time you saw or talked to Ace?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, but it was kind of awkward, so I don't want to go into it.
Okay, no, it's all good. It's all good. No, you
I ended
have
up,
to.
I ended up seeing one of his last shows. I saw the show. He played a show in this random festival in Monroe, Connecticut, and it ended up being one of his last shows.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
last time I saw him was last time he played Vegas, and it was not one of his good shows.
no,
This was actually a good show. It
Yeah.
was a good night.
we saw Ace open for Alice Cooper at the
Greek?
Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
At
at
the
the bowl.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Or the Greek. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it might have been the Greek because I think I went to that show with Ahmet.
Okay. And Ace Frehley was not very good.
No.
It was unfortunate, which is a drag because around the time of the Sunset Music Festival, where all the clubs on the strip, as well as the strip has bands, Ace Frehley played the Viper Room. And it was Ace Frehley with Todd Youth on guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I think Johnny Martin may have been on bass.
Yep.
And it was fucking great. It was great. And in the Viper Room, which holds,
Yeah.
200 crammed,
Yep.
200 jam-packed, Ace did the smoking guitar gimmick. So I'd rather remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I love it. I mean, you've been around a while. I mean, you were obviously on the strip in that fucking heyday of heydays. Is there any shows that pop out in your head that you remember? You're like, holy fuck, I can't believe I was at that.
There were so many shows and such a scene that was happening. I mean, you got to remember, you could go to the Sunset Strip from then Gazzari's,
Mhm.
which later became the Key Club, the Rainbow, the Roxy, and the Whiskey, and as well as the Central before it becomes the Viper Room. And along that stretch of land, there was 1,000 kids every night. There were adventures just waiting to happen. So, Faster Pussycat, Taz, The Wild,
Mm-hmm.
all these bands, as well as Guns N' Roses, LA Guns,
Mhm.
Faster Pussycat. And then there were other scenes that were happening with like Jane's Addiction and shit like that. So there was always something to do somewhere. Monday night was the Scream Club. Tuesday night was Cat House.
Mhm.
Wednesday may have been that Camp Hollywood. Thursday was Bordello, and then you had the weekend. And on any given night, at any given venue, you didn't know who was going to play. It could be White Zombie, it could be Danzig, it could be Mookie Blaylock, who later on become Pearl Jam,
Jam.
Mhm.
the Alice in Chains. It could be Blind Melon. There was something always going on, and it was always so important to witness it, to experience it, to be
Mhm.
part of this, not really knowing that you're becoming part of history, but
Right.
like, I can't miss this. I can't miss out, you know. I
Hmm.
might meet my future girlfriend, my future bandmates, my
Yeah.
future drug dealers, man.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something going on.
Hmm.
I did a project with Perry Farrell during COVID. It was a book project, and it was interesting because one of the things we talked about we kind of went through his whole life, and we talked a lot about the Sunset Strip, and it was interesting because he says the same exact thing, and it's like he talks about like Guns N' Roses, Faster Pussycat, Jane's Addiction, and he in particularly would talk about Axl because he's like there was this mutual respect. We were completely different musical forms, but there was a mutual respect, and everyone wanted to be the alpha. So he's like, you had this, and it was a really fascinating perspective coming from him.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. Axel was a huge Jane's Addiction supporter. He
Hmm.
turned me on to the Jane's Addiction demo.
Oh
And
wow,
and you know, he had mad respect for that band and what they were doing. And Guns N' Roses had its own thing going on, you
yeah.
know. And every band was like a gang. And the roadies were, you know, also part of the gang, and the family was also part of the gang, but you chose your gang, you know. So
Hmm.
I want to say it was like 1986 street scene in downtown Los Angeles. There's it's packed, it's huge, you know. And to keep fans from climbing on stage and stage diving, they had these steel barrels, these garbage cans filled with water that somehow got thrown on the stage. And then people like myself or another roadie named Red Ed or Jojo Zauk would take these steel and throw them back. We're throwing steel at human
Into the
beings
crowd.
because we're protecting our gang. This is what you do, you know?
This is before you get sued for looking into the crowd.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
like, yeah, wow,
It,
wow.
it, it was you know, you don't realize it at the moment because, you know, when you're in the eye of the hurricane, you don't really realize that there's a hurricane going on. The
Hmm.
shit's spinning. And there was so much happening, you know. There was so much
Yeah.
happening that I was hired by Geffen Records to be a talent scout and once a month write a report as to what bands I thought were, you know, worthy of the record label's attention.
Hmm. Is there any bands that pop out in your head that might have gone on to that next level?
I was a big fan and supporter of this punk rock grunge band called New Improved God. And New Improved God were wrong place, wrong time. If they had been in Seattle, they would have exploded.
Hmm.
They they were so good and so misunderstood. And, you know, I would tell people about them and couldn't get a bite. Couldn't get a bite. There was also another band called Grace Period that a lot of my friends have been in. Um, Josh Lewis, who was in Warrant, was in Grace Period. Mark DiGiacomo, the bass player, who was in
Hmm.
Slack Babbitt. Sid from Rob Halford's Two was the drummer. He was also in The Wild with Dizzy Reed. They were a really great, gritty rock and roll band. And superiors to me, A&R scouts, would come out and they'd be like, the band's great, but they need a singer. Everybody had fucking Sebastian Bach fever. So if you weren't
Yeah.
Sebastian Bach front in the band, they didn't get you. So no matter how good Grace Period were, and they were really fucking good, they never got a record deal.
Well, I guess that was at that time too when like it started to get cookie cutter,
Yeah,
right?
and I mean, there's many different reasons, but MTV
Yeah.
is part of the blame.
Oh, of course.
People started listening to music with their eyes and
Hmm.
stopped, you know, judging with their ears.
It's
If you
and
look
they
the
still
part, you
do.
must be the.
Yeah.
If you look the part, you must be the part.
Right.
And the rebellion that happens as a result is to be expected, when you've got all these glamtastic, fluffy rock bands, of course, somewhere there's going to be rebellion in flannels
Hmm.
and,
Right.
and ripped jeans.
Yeah.
And what I'm waiting for in this political climate is where's the angry youth rock and roll band that
Right.
tells it like it is? Where is the vigilant anti-red hats, anti-MAGAs who are the Sex Pistols of their generation, who are the Guns N' Roses of their generation?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's you bring up GNR again too, and like them and LA Guns and Pussycat, they were kind of the opposite of what was going on, of what was huge, the Poisons and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, when you say hair metal, when
Mhm.
people dub something hair metal, the Guns N' Roses family takes offense because it's so cookie cutter. It's so
Right.
just dumbing down something.
Hmm.
And there were drastic differences. Hanoi Rocks were not fucking hair metal, no matter how
Right.
glamorific they were. Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers were not glam metal or hair metal or
Yep.
glam rock, no matter how influential they may be. Dead Boys, yada yada yada.
Hmm.
And Guns N' Roses had more in common with punk rock than what MTV wind up promoting when,
Mhm.
you know, when Warrant and Bullet Boys and Slaughter and all those bands that, you know, it's not cool of me to disrespect them, but
Yeah.
they're polar opposites on what fucking Guns N' Roses was
Oh
doing.
yeah, absolutely. Dell, I know you have an appointment in 45 minutes or so, so let's close on this. Ricky Rackman's the Cat House podcast, he told a story, and I'm wondering if you were there, if you remember this night. There was something about Axl and David Bowie.
I was there. I don't remember the details. But it happened. It definitely happened.
It
There's a lot of
happened.
shit that happened that I can't remember the details from.
Right.
Every night was a new adventure. Every day was your last day on Earth, and you were gonna party like it was 1999.
I love it. Dell, people want to find the book. Where can they find the book?
Anybody who's interested in consensual violence can locate it via Amazon.com. And if you have read Consensual Violence, please leave a comment in the Amazon book reviews. That really helps, promote and generate interest, as
It,
well as any of the podcasts. This one, if there's a comment section, please leave your review of the book, good,
Love
bad,
it.
indifferent. Just talk about it and help spread the word. I'm thankful to both of you gentlemen for
Del,
bringing me
one
on.
quick question: is there a place for people that are into the um, memorabilia aspect? Is there a way to get an autographed copy? Do you do that at all?
Really, not really.
Not really. Okay,
I will gladly sign anybody's copy if we happen to be in the same room at the same time.
but Amazon's the place to go then. Okay, or your indie bookstores. Okay, all right.
Amazon.com is the place where most of the people have been able to find consensual
Okay,
violence.
fantastic. And when
Freaking love it.
maybe we'll see it. I got Guns N' Roses at what's it called now? MetLife. So maybe we'll see you there.
Right on.
All
Yep, yep,
right.
yep.
Check out Dell if they want to find you on like Twitter and Instagram, Dell James Gang.
Yeah, I'm on all the socials, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. I'm on some shit. I don't even know what it is, but I can't figure out Threads. I'm sure there's a logic to it. I mean, I can post on Threads. I can comment on other people's threads. I can see things that were on Instagram through Threads now.
Weird. That is
But
freaking wild.
Yeah.
Paul, what's up in Paul World? Is there anything that people need to know about Paul World or reach out to Paul
No, Paul
World?
World. I'm just management. All
Yeah.
all the fun stuff.
Good times.
There's
Still
nothing. There's nothing to plug right now. I got a new band I'm working on with Chad Taylor, the guitar player of Live. We've just started talking about it, but that band's at this point we're ready to get out there. We're just finishing up a bunch of demos. Faster Pussycat, new band called Drop the Star out of Seattle. The Bites, new record from the Bites is really good. So
Nice.
keeping busy.
And soon to be ACK, a tribute to Ace Frehley. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wait. Izzy, what are you doing next week?
What's that? I missed it.
What are you doing next week?
I will be on the Cruise to the Edge with prog bands galore. They know all the notes and play all of them and more.
They play them all over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's super talented musicians on there. And my saving grace is Queensryche.
Dude, I saw Yes at Madison Square Garden in the round, and it was prog-tastic. It was. I
worked with
78, 79 era.
Wow, that's awesome.
Check this out too. Speaking of the prog world, we're gonna have this author on as soon as we get back. This is 50 years of Rush in 2012. It is very well done.
I saw Rush at the Palladium in New York, and I want to say it was Farewell to the Kings tour.
Wow.
Yeah. So respect to Prague, and that's super cool that there's a boat and a that's doing that.
I thanks for the invitation, Izzy. I ran a prog label at Century Media, the Inside Out label. So I have that holds a dear place in my heart. But
well, I mean, the only thing that sucks about the prog cruise is I'm the hottest girl on the boat.
I was about to say
that's not with the bands or working. Just let me get that by. Ladies and gentlemen, fucking Del James. Check out the book Consensual Violence. Paul Gargano. I'm glad he's here because I saw pictures of Robert Carradine passed away, and the pictures looked exactly like you look now.
Oh, with this?
With the hair and the beard, and rest in peace.
Actually, the hair is scary long now.
Yeah, well, mine's gonna get shorter.
It's down, but I've got it tied in a knot in the back to keep it out of my face.
I'm so over it. I'm so over it. And Del, of course, your head's just shining.
I was losing my shit after being 10 years sober, and that's how we commemorated it, and donated my ponytail to Locks of Love. So
nice.
Somebody got something out of, my hair.
I love it. Now, if you guys are coming to Vegas, hit up the Metal Blade Records Museum, metalblade.com/museum. If you are getting married, hit me up. I can do that legally. Have fucking Izzy Frehley as your officiant. Paul, I'm actually good at it. I'm good. So anyways, Paul Gargano, thank you for coming back. Del James, thank you for finally coming on. My name is Izzy Frehley. Do not forget, what I lack in talent, I make up for in the cock. Oh, shit.